Hello Raptor Pack, my name is Max and we are Dino Junkie. If you're new here, welcome. This is a community, welcome to the pack. I'm more than glad to have you here. If you're new here or not, please feel free to comment, like, and subscribe, as well as hitting that bell notification icon. It really does go a long way to helping the channel, and I also respond to comments quite a lot, so please feel free to have a dialogue with me in the comments below. Today we're talking about Attack on Titan chapter 139, and I know everybody is talking about this. Everybody and their grandma is talking about this because it's the end of an era almost. It's the end of Attack on Titan. This is huge. So this is my goodbye to Attack on Titan. This is huge for me. And I want to talk about why the ending matters, what it means to me, and what it means for the future, and how we can just let it go. But before we get into all that, if you've been having a rough day, a rough week, a rough year, this is a place that you can settle in and relax. We are a community. I want us to feel like that, and I also want us to be able to just come and collect and speak together on the things that we're passionate about, that we want to talk about. So if you haven't given yourself a break today, now is that time. Set down what you're doing, plug in some headphones, listen, grab a drink, relax. I'm giving you permission to do so. This is an anime and animation channel, but we're going zen, okay? I also like to focus on being calm and reducing anxiety. So also I want to say a quick thank you for 2,000 subscribers. That is insane. The first 1,000 took a long time, and then the second 1,000 didn't take so long. So the growth is amazing and intimidating, but I'm very excited. Without further ado, let's jump into the chapter. So Attack on Titan chapter 139. Basically what happens, to give some context, if you don't know what's going to happen, if you don't know what has happened and you are an anime only watcher or you haven't read the chapter yet, click off. I'm giving you permission to click off. Just subscribe, like, do all that stuff, but click off now because this is spoiler heavy. With that out of the way, let's get into what happens. So for context's sake, what happens in the chapter is basically Armin and Eren are having this conversation, but they're younger, like they're kids again, and they're talking about what Eren has done in the present. It's very much the past and the future, that whole thing that's been going back and forth. Anyways, he's saying that he's, wiped out 80% of the population in a Dr. Manhattan type fashion, where he's just nuking an entire city, wiping out that huge portion of the population so that the rest of everybody will come together. And I don't know about you, but that is what I thought of first. Dr. Manhattan feels like it's been done before. I get that that's what the rumbling was going to be anyways, but it was more of a complete mass genocide, and now it's been revealed that his plan this whole time was just to kill a small portion of the population and then have heroes come in and save the day. So yeah, that's the end of Watchmen. That's Watchmen. I'm realizing now that is, yep. Isayama made Watchmen. Completely different story-wise, but the ending is still the exact same, pretty much, which, alright. Yeah, I'm not super happy with this ending. Attack on Titan was huge in my life, very instrumental, and I remember when it came out on Netflix. That was the first time it was available to me. I went on Netflix and I looked at anime titles because it was things that were popping up, and I saw Attack on Titan and I clicked on it. People started speaking Japanese. I was very confused, but I watched because the plot intrigued me, and then I kept watching, and then I heard people talking about it, so I kept watching some more. And as I went on, I went, wow, this is really good. This stuff's really good. And oh, this stuff is like that Dragon Ball Z stuff I watched when I was a kid. And then this went on, and it was very influential in my life and led me to doing lots of different things, finding One Piece, interestingly enough, which then led me to other anime and manga territories and comic books and graphic novels in general. It's even led me to creating this channel and being here with you right now. So to be on that journey for years and years, the past 7 years, that's so long to think about, but I was 13 or 14 when I started this, and to think about that is quite insane. And I followed it all the way through, and I would keep from watching an entire season so that I could go and then binge an entire season all at once, and then I would always want more and more and more, and then eventually I started reading the manga after season 3, and now here we are at this ending that Isayama, I mean, man, I don't know why you thought this was a good idea. I know that some of this was set up from before, but also some of it feels extremely rushed. I mean, the last arc feels extremely rushed. The battle on Eren's founding titan with all the rest of the titans. I mean, Levi getting his leg hurt. I mean, characters just dying outright and having no time to focus on them. And I get it. This is not shonen territory. It's not the typical someone dies, let's make a big deal out of it type of thing. But still, even on top of that, it felt so rushed. And I didn't like that. I wanted there to be more. I wanted Isayama to take more time. And he kept setting these deadlines for himself. Oh, this is when the next chapter is going to be out, and it's going to be this many chapters till the story ends. And here's a panel from the end of the story, which it wasn't even what most people theorized about. I mean, and the fact that so many devout fans would create so many theories and so many meme theories to the point where we have a Madagascar theory, a huge Reddit post going on about how Attack on Titan is really the precursor to Madagascar. I mean, this series is important. I already know people think that, and I know people feel that way, but that's why this is a big deal. That's why this is important. That's why this ending is important. And Isayama, you just sort of stomped on the dreams of what most people would have been okay with. And I get that there's going to be upset people either way, left and right, up and down. Wherever you go, there are going to be people who don't like the ending that you create. But I feel like that ending could have been pulled out to be something more, to be something more founded than what it was. I mean, Game of Thrones had this problem. Bleach had this problem. I believe that Naruto even had this problem. There's too many series that have this problem, and the creators get to the end and they feel, okay, we've come this far. The people want an ending. Let's give them an ending. No, don't do that. That's not a good idea. For any future creators, don't just rush the ending. People don't like that. It's one of the things that I really love about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, is that because it's broken up into so many different parts, that it's easier to create a beginning and an ending. And they can be long. They can be as long as other manga or anime series or comic book series. But if it was all one continuous story, which I know I get it sort of is, if it was all that one continuous story, it is really, really hard to have all that on your shoulders for one continuous plot and all those characters to pull along. Again, I know the characters in JoJo's, but still, it's separate. And Attack on Titan, it's a huge, massive thing. Even though it's only 139 chapters, those chapters are long. Those chapters hold a lot of value, and they're typically well written. This one really wasn't. We're thrown into them having a conversation, them saying that, oh, Eren, you must have struggled so much with the fact that you held this on your shoulders, and you must have been so alone, and you did this for us. It makes Eren out to be a good guy. It's like the amount of times we flip-flop between Zeke being good and bad, and then Eren being good and bad. I'm fine with those twists, but for you to just pull it out and say, oh, no, he's good now. He's fine. Yeah, he's fine. It is okay. No, it's done. Well, you have to understand the people's frustration in that if you've set him up as a villain for so long, and he does address, he's treated Mikasa poorly and Armin poorly, he said all these bad things. It's human that he's conflicted. It's not black and white, but I never thought it was black and white. I thought he did care for Armin and Mikasa, but he still decided to go through with this, in the way that he was going to succeed in his plan was to push them away. And that's what he did successfully. He did that successfully in the words that he spoke to him, to Armin and Mikasa. And so here we are at the end with Eren dead, Armin, Mikasa, and the rest of the Marleyans and Eldians that banded together. They are working to end conflict in the world, because that was Eren's goal all along, was to prolong the end of conflict just for a brief grace period. And it's realistic that conflict wouldn't just go away if you genocide an entire race. The 80% thing, yeah, there's going to be people that are upset, and we see that. But then, even though we're told that it's going to take a lot of time to get back to there, since this is all done in one chapter, we're there. We're there with them, the next panel, the next page. We're there with the people that are dealing with that conflict now. And it's just them hoping for a great new future. It's very power of friendship and campy the more you know type thing, and I was really disappointed in the fact that Isayama decided to do that, and not that Attack on Titan can't be inspirational, it very much can, but it started off as an inspirational thing, transformed into turning its protagonist, its hero, into an antagonist and villain, just to flip it on its head in the last moment. It just felt like whiplash, and unfortunately, it's kind of soiled a piece of Attack on Titan for me. I think what I'm gonna have to do is just separate the ending, the last few chapters, the last piece of this arc, or maybe just this last arc in general, from the rest of the series, because it went from a manga that had an even better anime adaptation to now something that leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Not so bad as Game of Thrones, but still bad enough. It's still one of the greatest anime manga to have ever existed. It's still going to have a legacy. He created that. It still will be able to have that legacy. The ending isn't completely awful. It's just disappointing. And with that being said, I just have to lower it a little bit below some of the other things that I consider to be the greatest, just from its ending. I love you, Attack on Titan. I'm glad that you've been a part of my life for years. You've helped me to grow friendships, to grow relationships, to conquer some fears. And I appreciate you for that. And your ending can't ruin that for me. So thank you. And goodbye, Attack on Titan.